clatter in Harry Frost's skull grew loud. Still peering down the barrel of his rifle at the wonderful empty space where Marco Cellere had been, he suddenly realized that the noise was not a memory of the Matawan farm, but real as the 405-grain lead bullet that had just blown the bride thief into the gorge. He looked up. Josephine was flying over him in her damned biplane. She had seen him shoot her aeroplane inventor. Frost had 3 cartridges left in his magazine. He raised the rifle. But he didn't want to kill her. She'd stay with him now that Marco was out of the way. But she saw him kill Marco. They would lock him back in the bug house. Second time around, he'd never get out. That wouldn't be fair. He wasn't the betrayer. She was. Frost whipped the rifle skyward and fired twice. He misjudged her speed. At least one shot passed behind her. With only a single bullet left, he gathered his wits, settled his nerves, and led the biplane like a pheasant. Bullseye! He had scored a hit for sure. Her flying machine lurched into a wide, clumsy turn. He waited for it to fall. But it kept turning, wobbling back in the direction of the camp. It was too high to hit with a pistol, but Frost jerked one from his belt anyway. Bracing the barrel on his powerful forearm, he fired until it was empty. Eyes bugging with rage, he flicked a snub-nosed derringer out of his sleeve. He emptied its 2 shots futilely in her direction and pawed at his hunting knife to cut her heart out when she smashed into the trees. The clatter grew fainter and fainter and fainter, and Harry Frost could do nothing but watch helplessly as his treacherous wife disappeared beyond the tree line and escaped his righteous wrath. At least he had blown her lover into the gorge. He lumbered across the meadow, hoping for a glimpse of Cellere's body smashed on the river rocks. But halfway to the rim of the cliff, he stopped dead, poleaxed by a horrible realization. He had to run before they locked him back in the bug house. Josephine fought with all her skill to guide her machine safely to the ground. Harry had hit it twice. One bullet had nicked the 2-gallon gasoline tank behind her. The second was worse. It had jammed the link between her control lever and the wire that twisted the shape of her wings. Unable to warp them to bank the machine into a turn, she was dependent entirely on its rudder. But trying to turn without banking was like flying a glider before the Wright brothers invented wing warping. God-awful awkward, and likely to slide her sideways into a deadly flat spin. Lips tight, she worked the rudder like a surgeon's scalpel, taking measured slices of the wind. Her mother, a frantic woman unable to cope with the simplest task, used to accuse her of having ice water in her veins. But wasn't ice water handy on a crippled flying machine, Mother? Slowly, she brought the biplane back on course. When the wind gusted from behind, she smelled gasoline. She looked for the source and saw it dripping from the fuel tank. Harry's bullet had punctured it. Which would happen first, she wondered coolly.